Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The last panel session. See if I can find these.
I don't know. Hello.
Hello again.
I might have to switch this.
Welcome to the panel.
Right, yeah.
This is the final panel session.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a long.
Okay. I sense that we're kind of going full circle. Communications. We've heard a lot about secure voice, broadband mobile data this week. But let's not forget where it all started. Once upon a time, there was no radio communications. And in all walks of life, police, fire, ambulance, ports, whatever, these guys were going out on the streets. And when they left their stations, their offices, they were the guys in charge. It was all down to them. Now, as radio has started coming on through, you know, that shift has gone from the guy on the street to perhaps that control room. But are we reaching a point where maybe we're going full circle with all the new radio communications and whatever? So this panel is to decide a little bit about integration, a bit about a thing called situational awareness, and maybe a bit of a challenge about what is the control room of the future looking like. We've got 20 minutes. It's wrapping it up, so let's try and be positive about the whole affair and go for it. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves, perhaps starting with Jeff on the end here.
So my name's Jeff McCormick. I'm a director of Alloy. We are a design and innovation consultancy. My expertise doesn't lie in the sphere of TETRA, but probably in looking about 5 to 10 years out for large corporate companies like Samsung and Intel, but also for professional organizations, trying to help them understand how technology will evolve and how people's behaviors will evolve alongside them to produce the products of the future.
Beautiful, thank you. Peter.
Peter Gordon, I think many people know me, but if somebody's walked in who have never met me before, I'm old. I've been in the business for a number of years as a cop, and I now work with Motorola Solutions. Doing what? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, once more. Kari Junttila, coming from Finland Emergency Service College R&D, and I have, in fact, 34 years of working experience. First 15 years Finnish Air Force long-range radar systems, then 15 years in commercial side, cellular operator business and handset manufacturer Benefon. Probably everybody remember this fabulous analog system. And last 4 years here taking care about all those projects related to operative work on the field. And
beautiful. So
he bombs them, I'll tell everybody about it, and Jeff fixes it.
This is great. What a high panel debating panel we have. And I say, Kermit, I'll leave you to work out which one's Fozzie Bear. I think I know which one's Waldorf on the end there. But anyway, enough said. So listen, guys, integrated control rooms. What does this mean? What does this mean to you, the word integration and control rooms? Talk to the audience a little bit about integration. Who wants to start? Jeff?
Go for it, Jeff.
Okay, so I'll talk from a kind of meta level. There's been a massive long-term trend taking place in the world, which is all about convergence, which is about the convergence of the platforms, about the convergence of the behaviors, and about the convergence of the data that's coming from these new platforms. I briefly talked to you before about the idea that at the moment, let's take example of a Manchester United football game, and at the moment, you know, that you need to try and maintain crowd control and so on. Imagine a future where every single ticket emits a signal so you know where all the tickets are. Imagine if you combine that information with the local pubs around Old Trafford to see where the pubs are selling the most beer. Imagine if you can integrate new forms of data to actually enable you to predict things much, much more accurately. So clearly I'm not going to tell you what the integrated control room of today is like, but I think I've got a fairly good idea of behaviors that you can extract from that in the control room of the future.
Okay. Peter, you've had a lot of experience with control rooms. Give us your views on this.
I don't think there's one sort of solution. I think there's a whole range. I've been into a control room that has nothing apart from a mobile radio that goes into a car, no handsets, that's got no mapping, no command and control, but they still control and manage things. That is some form of integration because they're able to take something in, a demand, and be able to process it. And then we go right up to the top that is all singing and dancing and connected in some cases from one control room to another and can flow. So I think the difficulty in the control room space, I think, is there's lots of little solutions being grown often locally. So how do we want to impose standardization of these systems across wider areas? That might be an interesting question.
Okay, so integration is about joining up, it's about trying to work out what it is you want. What are the difficulties, do you think, that are around this subject of integration? What do you think?
I don't have my laptop here, so I have to show that this is the integrated control room. Because in Finland, we do not have this kind of model. We have this emergency response center, and then after that, the field takes care about the controlling over the accidents always. The ERC just support the accident information needed more there, but we want to have better applications, maybe more sophisticated equipment and reliable broadband on the field.
Okay, so it's about information and applications. So I'm getting the idea about the integrated control room now. But this kind of leads into our second piece of knowledge we want to try and discuss with the guys, and that's around situational awareness. Now, this is a word I've heard an awful lot lately. Situational awareness, this concept of operations, that situational awareness, something else. What the heck are we talking about with situational awareness? You know, what is it? Who needs it? And why is it important?
So what's going on? What are we doing? What have we got to do next? Who's going to make a decision? I suppose that could be a term of situational awareness.
Wrapping it up, okay.
I hope that I don't use wrong terms, but New York had an portmaster or the mayor of New York was blind man, or used to be. And think about that situation. He was leading all the important big accidents. How did he get the situational awareness? You have to understand that situational awareness is, it depends on the accident. It can be text, it can be voice, it can be video, pictures, or it can be a map. You cannot, say that this does not belong to situational awareness.
Okay, Peter?
We have a term in policing that many people would understand, and other services use it, of gold, silver, bronze. So bronze actually delivers the tactics, silver manages the tactical plan, gold does the strategy. The problem is there's always a platinum. And a platinum is somebody, the big chief, who comes in to meddle or take over some of the roles, like the mayor who may be getting involved. So there is a danger with situational awareness that you want to give so much information of what's going on to everybody, and then that causes more confusion than it solves.
Okay, Peter, thank you for that. Jeff, I mean, you talked about counting pints in Manchester, situational awareness. What do you think about that?
I have a little bit different point for this issue, because, for example, in Finland, when we talk about our operative model, we say that each leader, each commander, whatever is the level, squad, platoon, company, they have to have this common operational picture, what they are doing, which are the tasks they have to perform, and what is the situation of those tasks. Are they ongoing, on the pending status, or so on?
I think it was Napoleon who said it. If Napoleon didn't say it, he should have done. Commander should command in the best place to command. And that often is a hill, so you can overlook the battlefield. And we had the wonderful picture of the far chief on the lorry. Now, why do we need to give him anything more than a ladder to get on that lorry? Because he's actually got everything in front of him, all the information. His brain is processing it all. He can make all the decisions he needs to make. Just give him a pair of ladders.
Okay, but this is all about decision making, and frankly, guys, what can we learn from Napoleon, to be fair? I mean, who won
Not
Waterloo?
a lot. He lost in the end,
Who won
didn't
Waterloo
he?
at the end of the day?
1812, sorry.
So it's all about decision making. Let's have a think about that. Decision making by people in the field. Positive and negative aspects. I mean, why do people seem to be scared to give decision making capability and capacity to the guy in the field? There does seem to be, well, I think there seems to be some sort of reluctance to do that. What do you think?
Go, Jeff, you haven't.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with another, which is that people are scared. I mean, if you are a manager, if you're a director, and you devolve all your responsibility to your team, a question might be asked about what the hell you were doing, what the hell you were adding to. Having a guy sat on top of a ladder or on top of a fire truck, overlooking the scene and seeing his guys working and either rescuing people or fighting fires. Again, why do we assume that we will have a group of 10, 12 people fighting the fire or rescuing people? We might just have 2 or 3 people and a lot of robotic assistants doing this in the future. So I think people have a reluctance about engaging and sharing these things very, very openly. It's a very central human thing here.
I suppose actually, I mean, it's decision-making up and down that chain of command, that gold, silver, bronze, and platinum that you were talking about. So probably we need to be able to make decisions all up and down that chain, Peter. What do you think?
I think we do, and I guess the difficulty that no technology can address, but maybe we ought to, is the human being, the manager. We know that we can have a really good leader and we can have a poor leader, a good decision maker, a poor decision maker, somebody who lets you get on with the job and trusts you, or takes over the job. Now, we have that in this critical environment as we have in every office environment. I've not seen a bit of technology that solves that yet.
Okay.
Apart from sticky tape over somebody's mouth.
Go on.
No, I have to say that we have decades of experience about this field management, and all fires have been, decreased, and we have to say that we trust those fire managers or those field managers because they know what they are doing and they have the whole situational picture there. And I have to be proud to say that 4-year brainwashing here in this kind of events has shown some results, because people from Netherlands told me that they are going to follow our Finnish model to go out from the command and control rooms to field.
We're going to challenge you on this one in a minute, a little bit. But Peter, I think you wanted to come in.
Yes,
as
sorry,
well.
I posed a question a moment ago, and in fact, I've just solved it myself. I just suddenly thought how you solve it. You actually make the technology as complex as possible. Then the only people that can use the technology are people like Sam, the experts that know how it works. So the big chiefs come in. They actually don't know what to do. They're scared. They do actually then step aside. So maybe, if we keep building complex technologies, we solve the leadership and management problems, yeah?
Well, if there's one place in the world that's going to be able to design complex technologies, looking at the buildings around me,
it
then I
may
think
not
it's
be
Dubai
Motorola.
that is the place. All right?
Peter,
I mean, there's some beautiful buildings out there. Come on the air.
I
You
have
want
to say
get
that
in
we
there.
talk about these user requirements. When we talk about new systems, we first ask from our users what they need. Then we follow up the processes. Does those needs belong as a part of our operative process? And that's why I have to say to you that our goal is to make so simple applications that they support this operative work on the field.
There's a word from the consumer electronics world which is called simplexity, which is the idea that it's really easy to make something bloody complex. Any fool can do that. The really difficult thing is actually making something really simple. The Steve Jobs thing is the most difficult decisions he makes are the things not to do. Again, I'm not picking up Motorola, but this natural tendency and progression for technologies to add features and layers of complexity to their products simply to justify the launch of a new product or an increased margin is the exact opposite of what is needed.
So let me just take my Motorola hat off. Hopefully there's not the
I'm
boss
not-
in
I'm
the
not
room.
indeed.
But I'm just sort of putting a proposition forward, towards the end of the day, 3 days, really tight. Maybe that's what we want, really complex systems, because I have been in the room where big chiefs are taking over, and the problem I have is getting them out the room. Now, as soon as you put a bit of technology there, they lose it. They don't understand it. They leave it to the experts. Experts can then get on with the job. Make it as simple as an iPad. Oh, we could have even more disasters.
Was it
Peter,
lunatics
I've got-
running the asylum?
Yeah, lunatics running the
But
site.
we have done it other way, We have put the
You're talking to a
responsibility to the field, so those big bosses can never touch to this.
Yeah,
real
we
world.
tried this, haven't we? We've done this in the Met. Sam would know. He's nodding now. There is a little room, and that's the gold, and you lock them. We used to give them a window so they could look out. We've taken the window away to try and keep them out, the people who do the job. But they still want to walk out and they still want to and they want to cut across the process.
Well, we can't have people cutting across processes or cutting across the presenter, the facilitator either. So we're going to come down to the very final point now. It's been 3 long days, lots of warmth, lots of beer, and the odd belly dancer. Okay, I think we need to go out on a bit of a sort of controversial subject. So let's see if we can turn it around to controversy. You know, there's different types of communication, different types of control, different types of incidents, the pre-planned, the major incidents, but then there is business as usual. Let's not forget that. The routine stuff, the 999 call comes in, 112, whatever, and you know, you have to respond to that. And all of this is happening in and around control rooms today. So, my question, and that of Sid the Camel here, fixed organizational control rooms, okay? Are they going to become a thing of the past? If not, why not? And if yes, when's it going to happen? What's going to make it happen? These big fixed control rooms, all this money, do we need them, really? We got all this wonderful technology. Jeff?
Again, looking outside of the world, we've seen a massive decentralization and will continue to see a massive decentralization of command and control activity. Because we don't need to anymore. We have technologies that allow us to actually split it out. So the example from Finland and the example from everywhere else, you know, you have mobile control centers. What the hell do you need a big fixed one for? Okay. Maybe the big fixed control center in the future will be the one that actually starts turning the dials up and down on the different networks you want to use to prioritize TETRA users.
So maybe the role of the control room is going to change. I guess we're going to need some sort of call handling contact point, or do we? And you know, maybe that could be done in a different way.
I think for me, the really important bit is it seems fairly obvious that you will be going down a kind of mixed network flavor in the future. You must have the ability to actually override and prioritize your communications over others. That would be the fixed control room.
So because of all this wonderful technology, we could be on the verge of a sort of significant change in the way, you know, our business as usual, the way we've always done our business.
Absolutely.
Yes, you almost said what I was going to say. So we need the technology and we need application. We need communication on the field. So if we have right tools, we can do it on the field. But without right tools, it's better to keep on the command and control room.
Okay, so we need the right tools to do the job. Peter, you're looking a bit unsettled, a bit nervous now.
Well, okay, so the world you're talking about is this. I need a cop and I'll dial a number, but I'm not going to go to a control room. I'm going to go somebody that's mobile. Now, where will that somebody be? Because I've been a cop and I know. They're in Starbucks having a latte. Now, will they actually pick up the get work button on the smart device? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about in the mobile world, somebody doing something, the officer is going to press a button and it's a get work button. As soon as I press that button, somebody's going to give me some work. Human nature says, don't touch the button, finish the latte.
Technology says, I know you're sitting in Starbucks having a latte, you better bloody answer it.
Exactly.
Good answer. Good answer.
But who's going to do that? Because you've got nobody to manage and control that would know that would happen.
Again, you're assuming there is a
company-paid phone. You have to answer when you are on the road.
I don't answer the phone now, and it's a company-paid phone.
Have you ever used Siri? So the idea that when you call 999 that you will actually be speaking to a human in the future, I don't think is a given either. So there will be automatic call forwarding based upon tonality of voice, stress recognition, type of activity. You know, these are the things I'm talking about, that don't assume that, you know, within the next 5 years, things aren't going to change that little. We are living in exponential times. There's massive change afoot.
To be
on a Saturday,
don't start
on a
bringing
Saturday,
Sam into
how many incidents have you got coming into your control room? Yeah.
Okay, so there may be some instances where this may not work on day one.
But
But we are in the process, ladies and gentlemen, of ripping up the rule books and perhaps starting again. I put it to you that in next year's event, wherever that is it, where is it?
Paris.
Paris, good,
Paris.
something sunk in this week. Okay, so next year in Paris, you might start hearing more news on these mobile control facilities and the end of the rule book and whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure talking to these gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed some of the controversy that's come out of that. You know, I'm not sure if it's down to me to wrap up the whole of TETRA World Congress 2000 and whatever it is. Who's the organizer? Come on up on the stage, Hannah. But ladies and gentlemen, thank our panelists, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Peter.
The stage is yours.